The planet was beautiful. It had green forests, blue oceans, and mountains that touched the clouds. 12 million people lived there. They called it New Busan. It was their home. Admiral Yuna Park stood on the bridge of her ship, the Eternal Dawn. She was 43 years old. She had served in the Navy for 20 years. She loved her job, but she loved peace more. Her small fleet of 47 ships protected New Busan. It was a quiet job. Nothing ever happened here. That changed on a Tuesday morning. "Admiral," said her officer, "we have contacts. Many contacts." Yuna looked at the screen. Her blood went cold. 300 ships were coming out of jump space. They were not human ships. They were Velric. The Velric were a reptilian species. They had scales like snakes and eyes like fire. They had conquered 17 star systems. They believed they were the strongest species in the galaxy. They looked at other races like insects, things to step on. "All ships, battle stations," Yuna said. Her voice was calm. Inside, her heart was racing. "Send a message to the colony. Begin evacuation." Now, on the planet below, alarms started screaming. People ran from their homes. Parents grabbed their children. Teachers led students to shelters. Everyone knew what those alarms meant. Danger. Run. The evacuation ships started launching. Big transport vessels filled with scared people. They flew toward the jump gate on the other side of the system. If they could reach it, they could escape. But the Velric were faster. "Admiral, they are targeting the transports," her officer said. Yuna made her choice in 1 second. "All ships, move to intercept. We protect those transports, no matter what." 47 human ships flew toward 300 enemy warships. Everyone knew the math. Everyone knew they would die. No one hesitated. The battle began. Human ships fired everything they had. Missiles flew through space like angry stars. Lasers cut through the darkness. The Velric fired back. Their weapons were powerful. Their ships were bigger. The first human ship exploded after 10 minutes. Then another. Then 5 more. But they did not retreat. Lieutenant Tae Kang was on the planet's surface. He worked in the communications center. His job was to send messages, not to fight. When the attack started, he helped coordinate the evacuation. He watched the numbers on his screen. How many transports launched? How many people escaped? "Come on," he whispered. "Come on, come on." Above him, Admiral Yuna fought like a demon. Her ship took hit after hit. Fires burned in the lower decks. Her crew died around her. But she kept fighting. "How many transports are out?" she asked. 60%, Admiral. 200,000 people. "Not enough. We need more time." She pushed her ship forward. The Eternal Dawn crashed into a Velric cruiser. Both ships broke apart in fire and metal. Yuna Park died with her eyes open, watching the transports escape. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, all 47 human ships were gone, but they had bought enough time. 200,000 people escaped through the jump gate. The Velric did not chase them. They had other plans. They landed on New Busan. Tae Kang hid in a communications bunker. The building above him collapsed from the bombing. He was trapped under broken concrete and twisted metal. He could not move. He could only listen and record. He heard the Velric soldiers marching through the streets. He heard them breaking down doors. He heard people screaming, begging, crying. He heard children calling for their mothers. Then he heard the weapons fire. The Velric did not take prisoners. They did not ask questions. They walked through every city, every town, every village. They killed everyone they found. Old people, young people, babies in their beds. Some humans tried to fight. Farmers with hunting rifles. Teachers with kitchen knives. A group of teenagers threw rocks at the soldiers. The Velric laughed and shot them all. The killing went on for 3 days. Tae Kang stayed in his bunker. He did not eat. He did not sleep. He just recorded every scream, every gunshot, every horrible moment. His hands were shaking. Tears ran down his face. But he kept recording. He knew someone needed to hear this. Someone needed to know what happened here. On the third day, the screaming stopped. The guns went quiet. The Velric had finished their work. 11,800,000 people were dead. The youngest was a baby girl. She was 4 months old. Her name was Minji. She had just learned to smile. The Velric returned to their ships. They were happy. They had taught the humans a lesson. They had shown the galaxy that humanity was weak, easy to kill, not worth worrying about. They flew away without looking back. Tai Kang waited 2 more days. Then he dug himself out of the rubble. He walked through the empty streets of New Busan. Bodies everywhere. Blood on the walls. Toys lying in the dirt. He found a working transmitter in a destroyed building. His fingers moved slowly. He was exhausted. Hungry. Broken. But he had a job to do. He sent his recording to Earth. Every second of it. Every scream. Every death. Everything. Then he sat down in the ruins and waited. 7 days later, his message reached Earth. It arrived during a meeting of the United Earth Parliament. 3,000 representatives were there, arguing about trade agreements and tax laws. Then the message played. They heard the screams. They heard the laughter of Velric soldiers. They heard children dying. They heard 11 million voices crying out. When it ended, no one spoke. The chamber was silent. 3,000 people sat frozen. Some were crying. Some were shaking with anger. Some just stared at nothing. Speaker Hana Yoon stood at her podium. She was 60 years old. She had been a diplomat her whole life. She believed in peace. She believed in talking. She believed that violence was never the answer. She looked at the silent chamber. She thought about the children of New Busan. She thought about baby Minji, who had just learned to smile. Then she spoke 3 words that changed everything. What do we do? The answer would shake the galaxy. The parliament chamber stayed silent for 11 minutes. No one moved. No one whispered. 3,000 people just sat there, frozen by what they had heard. Then an old man stood up. His name was Hyun Seo. He was 72 years old. His hair was white. His face was covered with wrinkles. But his eyes were sharp like knives. He had been a Grand Admiral for 40 years. He had fought in 3 wars. He had buried 2 sons who died in battle. He walked slowly to the center of the chamber. His boots made the only sound in the room. Click, click, click. I have a request, he said. His voice was quiet but strong. I am asking for Protocol Omega. People gasped. Some started crying again. Others looked confused. Many had never heard of Protocol Omega. It was a secret. A plan that existed only on paper. A plan that no one ever thought would be used. Protocol Omega meant total war. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon, everything humanity had, brought together for one purpose. It had never been done before. The cost would be enormous. It would leave human space unprotected. It was madness. Speaker Hana Yoon looked at the old admiral. You understand what you are asking? Yes. The risks? Yes. We will be vulnerable. Other enemies could attack while our fleet is gone. Hyun Seo nodded slowly. I know. But I also know this. If we do nothing, we tell the galaxy that human lives are cheap, that anyone can kill our people and walk away. Today, it is the Velric. Tomorrow it will be someone else, and someone else after that. He turned to face all 3,000 representatives. 11 million of our brothers and sisters are dead. Children are dead. If we do not answer this, we do not deserve to call ourselves human. The vote was held immediately. No debates. No arguments. No politician games. 3,000 votes. 3,000 for Protocol Omega. 0 against. The order went out that same hour. It traveled across space at the speed of light. It reached every human colony, every military base, every ship, and humanity began to wake up. On the colony world of New Sol, a retired captain named Dong Gil heard the news. He was 65 years old. He had a bad knee and gray hair. He had not worn a uniform in 10 years. He went to his closet, pulled out his old jacket, and put it on. It still fit. He reported for duty the next morning. On the mining station above Jupiter, workers stopped digging for minerals. They melted down their equipment. They built weapons instead. Day and night, the furnaces burned. Metal became missiles. Rocks became armor plating. In the shipyards of Mars, workers tore up their schedules. They stopped building cargo ships. They started building warships. The yards worked around the clock. 3 shifts, no breaks, no complaints. Across 340 human colonies, the same thing happened. Civilians volunteered by the millions. Scientists created new weapons. Factories switched production overnight. Old ships were pulled from retirement and repaired. And through it all, humanity stayed quiet. No angry speeches. No threats. No warnings sent to the Velric. Just silence. And work. The Velric noticed some of this activity. Their spies sent reports. Military movement. Ship production increasing. Volunteers joining the Navy. The Velric commanders laughed. The humans are angry, one general said. Let them build their little ships. What do they have? Maybe 30,000 warships? We have 900,000. They could build for 100 years and never match us. The Velric did not know the truth. For over a century, humanity had been hiding. They remembered their history. They remembered what happened when civilizations showed their true strength. Other powers attacked before you became too strong, so humanity played weak. They hid their ships. They pretended their technology was simple. They let everyone believe they were a young, small species. The real human fleet was not 30,000 ships. It was much, much larger. 6 months passed. Grand Admiral Hyun Seo worked every day. He slept 3 hours a night. He coordinated the gathering of ships from across human space. He chose the meeting point carefully. The Kestrel Nebula, a cloud of gas and dust far from any inhabited system. No one would see them gathering there. His assistant, a young officer named Ji-Woo Han, brought him reports every morning. How many ships today? Hyun Seo asked. 47,000 arrived yesterday, sir. Total count is now 112,000. Not enough. We need more. They are coming, Admiral. Every day, more ships arrive. Hyun Seo nodded. He looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Velric were celebrating their victory. They thought they had won. They thought humanity was broken. They had no idea what was coming. On Earth, Speaker Hana Yoon met with the families of New Busan survivors. 200,000 people had escaped. They lived in temporary camps now. They had lost everything: homes, family, friends. A young woman named Unbi Cha approached the speaker. She was 24 years old. Her parents and little brother had died on New Busan. She had escaped on one of the last transports. Will there be justice? Unbi asked. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were red from crying. Hana Yoon took her hands. I promise you, there will be justice. When? Soon. Very soon. In the Parliament building, planners worked on maps and strategies. They studied the Velric, their worlds, their fleet positions, their weaknesses. They planned every detail. Fleet Commander Day One led the planning team. He was 51 years old. Tall. Quiet. He never raised his voice. He never needed to. When he spoke, people listened. The Velric have 600,000 warships near their home system, he said. The rest are scattered across their empire. If we strike fast enough, we can destroy their main fleet before reinforcements arrive. And if we fail? Someone asked. Day One looked at him calmly. We will not fail. He did not say it with pride. He said it like a fact. Like saying the sun was hot or water was wet. As the 6th month ended, the final ships arrived at the Kestrel Nebula. Day One stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Hammer of Sol. It was the largest ship ever built. 8 kilometers long, enough weapons to destroy a moon. His tactical officer, Captain Sora Lim, handed him the final count. 300,000, 412 warships, 80,000 support vessels. Day One read the number. He thought about New Busan. He thought about 11 million dead. He thought about baby Minji, who had just learned to smile. It is time, he said. The fleet began to move. 300,000 ships, flying in perfect formation. Silent, deadly, coming. The Velric had woken something they did not understand. Something ancient. Something terrible. Humanity was going to war. The Kestrel Nebula was a cloud of purple and gold gas. It stretched across millions of kilometers. Stars twinkled through the mist like distant candles. It was beautiful. It was also the perfect hiding place. Fleet Commander Day One watched from his bridge as more ships arrived. Every hour, jump points opened and warships emerged. Small destroyers, medium cruisers, giant dreadnoughts. They came from every corner of human space. From wealthy core worlds. From poor frontier colonies. From mining stations and research outposts. All of them came to answer the same call. Captain Sora Lim walked up beside him. She was 38 years old. Smart. Loyal. She had served under Day One for 15 years. Commander, we have a problem, she said. What is it? We are running out of space. There are too many ships. They cannot all fit in formation. Day One almost smiled. That is a good problem to have. He looked at the tactical display. Ships filled the screen like stars in the sky. Red dots for destroyers. Blue for cruisers. Green for battleships. Gold for dreadnoughts. So many colors. So many ships. How many volunteers do we have? He asked. Over 200,000 people signed up for combat duty in the last month alone, Sora said. We cannot train them all fast enough. Then put them on support ships, medical vessels, supply carriers. Everyone who wants to help will help. Across the fleet, soldiers prepared for war. They checked their weapons. They tested their armor. They said goodbye to families through video messages that might be their last. In the hangar bay of the cruiser Iron Tiger, a young pilot named Junho Kwon sat in his fighter. He was 22 years old, fresh out of flight school. This would be his first real battle. His hands were shaking. An older pilot sat down next to him. Her name was Mireille Song. She was 40 years old. She had flown in dozens of battles. Her face had scars. Her eyes had seen death. Scared? She asked. Junho nodded. A little. Good. Being scared keeps you alive. She pulled out a small photograph. It showed a family. A man, a woman, and 2 small children. Junho did not know what to say. Mireille put the photo away. I am not scared anymore. I am angry. And when this battle comes, I am going to make them pay for every single person they killed. She patted his shoulder and walked away. On the flagship Hammer of Sol, Day One called a meeting of all senior officers. They gathered in the war room, a huge space with screens covering every wall. Maps of Velric territory, fleet positions, attack routes. Vice Admiral Wu Jin arrived last. He was a quiet man. He rarely spoke in meetings. But everyone knew his story. His younger sister had been a doctor on New Busan. She had stayed behind to help wounded people reach the transports. She died when the Velric bombed the hospital. Day One began the briefing. The Velric homeworld is called Keth Prime. 14 billion people live there. Their main fleet of 600,000 ships guards the system. Our mission is to destroy that fleet. And the planet? Someone asked. We do not touch the planet. Not unless they force us to. Some officers looked surprised. After what the Velric did, many expected revenge. Total destruction. Glass the planet. Kill everyone. Day One shook his head. We are not them. We do not murder civilians. We do not kill children. If we do those things, we become the monsters. And I will not lead an army of monsters. Vice Admiral Wu Jin spoke for the first time. Then what is the point? They killed 11 million of our people. They should pay. They will pay, Day One said. We will destroy their military. We will break their power. We will make them so weak that they can never threaten anyone again. But we will not become murderers. That is how we win. Not just this battle, but every battle that comes after. The room was silent. Then, one by one, the officers nodded. The day before the attack, Day One made a speech. It was broadcast to every ship in the fleet. 300,000 vessels. Millions of soldiers, pilots, and crew members. He stood alone on the bridge of his flagship. No notes. No fancy words. Just truth. Brothers and sisters, you know why we are here. 6 months ago, the Velric attacked New Busan. They killed 11,800,000 of our people. Men, women, children, babies in their beds. They did this because they thought we were weak. They thought we would cry and do nothing. They thought they could murder our families and walk away laughing. They were wrong. Look around you. Look at the ships beside you. 300,000 warships. The largest fleet in the history of our species. Every one of us chose to be here. Every one of us carries the names of the dead in our hearts. Tomorrow, we will jump to Keth Prime. We will face their fleet. And we will show them what happens when you harm humanity. Some of us will die. I will not lie to you. War has a price. But we do not die for nothing. We die so that our children can live in a galaxy where no one dares attack us. We die so that New Busan will never happen again. When the Velric see us coming, they will finally understand. They did not destroy humanity when they attacked our colony. They woke us up. They reminded us who we are. We are humans. We are stubborn. We are angry. And when you hurt the people we love, we do not forget. We do not forgive. We come for you. All of us. Together. Tomorrow, the Velric will learn a lesson that the galaxy will never forget. Strike a human, and we rise. Hurt our families, and we bring hell. See you on the other side. The transmission ended. Across the fleet, there was silence. Then cheering. Millions of voices screaming together. Fists pounding on metal walls. Tears of anger and pride. That night, soldiers wrote letters to their families. They shared meals with friends. They prayed to whatever gods they believed in. They prepared to die. At midnight, Fleet Commander Day One gave the final order. All ships, prepare for jump. Destination: Keth Prime. Jump drives powered up across the fleet. Space itself began to bend. Stars stretched into lines of light, and 300,000 warships vanished into the darkness. The hunt had begun. Keth Prime was a warm world. Red deserts covered most of the land. Great cities rose from the sand like metal mountains. 14 billion Velric lived there. They believed their world was untouchable. They believed their fleet was unbeatable. They were about to learn how wrong they were. High Sovereign Veth sat on his throne in the capital city. He was large, even for a Velric, scales as black as night, eyes that burned like fire. He had ruled the Dominion for 60 years. He had conquered 17 star systems. He feared nothing. A servant ran into the throne room. He looked terrified. My lord, ships. Ships are appearing everywhere. Veth stood up slowly. How many ships? We do not know. The sensors cannot count them all. Veth walked to the window. He looked up at the sky. The sky was full of human warships. They had appeared all at once. From every direction. A perfect sphere. Surrounding the entire planet. 300,000 ships. More metal than the eye could see. They blocked out the stars themselves. Veth felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. On the bridge of the Hammer of Sol, Day One watched the Velric fleet scramble. 600,000 enemy ships tried to form battle lines. They were confused. Panicked. They had never seen anything like this. Open a channel to the Velric command, Day One ordered. The screen flickered. High Sovereign Veth appeared. His face was calm, but his eyes gave away his fear. Who are you? Veth demanded. What is the meaning of this? Day One spoke clearly. 6 months ago, you destroyed the human colony of New Busan. 11,800,000 of our people died. You killed children while your soldiers laughed. We are not here to talk. We are not here for surrender. We are here to teach you a lesson. Harm our people, and we will come for you. All of us. And we will show no mercy to your military. This is your only warning. Remove your civilians from military areas. In 1 hour, we attack. Thanks for watching. End quote. We can mine out it. We can make scenes. End quote. Day One ended the transmission. Veth stared at the empty screen. Then he turned to his generals. The Velric fleet attacked. 600,000 warships charged at the human sphere. They fired everything they had. Missiles flew like rain. Energy beams cut through space. The Velric were not cowards. They were warriors. They would fight to the death. But they had never faced an enemy like this. The human fleet moved as one. Perfect coordination. Every ship knew exactly where to go, what to shoot, when to dodge. Years of training and planning came together in a single moment. The first Velric wave was destroyed in minutes. Captain Nari Bake led a squadron of destroyers. She was 40 years old, tough as steel. She had lost her husband on New Busan. All ships, follow me, she ordered. Target their command vessels. Her squadron dove into the Velric formation. They moved fast, hit hard, retreated before the enemy could respond. Classic human tactics. A Velric cruiser appeared in front of her ship. Too close to dodge. Too big to destroy. Brace for impact, Nari shouted. Her ship took the hit. The bridge exploded around her. Fire everywhere. Half her crew dead in seconds. But she did not stop. Engine room. Do we have power? Barely, Captain. We can move, but we cannot fight. Nari looked at her screen. Ahead, she saw the Velric command station, a massive structure where their admirals directed the battle. If it fell, their coordination would collapse. She made her choice. All hands, abandon ship, get to the escape pods. Now. Her crew looked at her. They understood. Captain, her first officer started. That is an order. Go. They went. Nari stayed at the controls. She aimed her broken ship at the command station. She pushed the engines to maximum. The Hammer of Sol detected her approach. Day One saw what she was doing. Captain Bake, pull back. We can find another way. Nari smiled. No, Commander. This is the way. Tell my daughter, I love her. She closed the channel. Her ship hit the command station at full speed. The reactor exploded. The station broke apart. A dozen Velric admirals died instantly. Nari's last words were simple. For New Busan. Across the battlefield, human soldiers fought and died. But for every human ship that fell, 10 Velric ships were destroyed. The young pilot Junho Kwon flew through clouds of debris. He had been scared before the battle. He was not scared anymore. He was focused. His hands were steady on the controls. "Enemy fighter on your tail," someone shouted in his radio. Junho rolled his ship. Spun. Fired. The Velric fighter exploded. "Got him," he said quietly. Beside him, Mirai Song laughed. "Not bad for a rookie. Stay with me. We are not done yet." The battle lasted 4 hours. The Velric fought hard. They were brave. They did not surrender. But bravery was not enough. The humans had more ships, better tactics, and something the Velric did not understand: unity. Every human ship fought as part of something larger. They covered each other, protected each other, died for each other. The Velric fought as individuals. Humans fought as one. By the 3rd hour, the Velric fleet was broken. Ships tried to retreat. There was nowhere to go. The human sphere had surrounded them completely. By the 4th hour, it was over. 600,000 Velric warships. Gone. Not defeated. Gone. Destroyed. Scattered across space as burning wreckage, Keth Prime remained untouched. The humans had not fired a single shot at the planet. High Sovereign Veth watched from his palace window. His mighty fleet was dust. His admirals were dead. His empire had fallen in 4 hours. A human shuttle landed in front of his palace. Soldiers marched out. They did not kill anyone. They did not break anything. They simply walked to the throne room. Fleet Commander Day 1 entered. Behind him came Vice Admiral Wu Jin and a squad of Marines. Veth stood before his throne. His guards were gone. His power was gone. He had nothing left. "You have won," Veth said. "Kill me if you wish." Day 1 looked at him calmly. "We did not come to kill you. Then why are you here?" "To deliver a message." Day 1 stepped closer. His eyes were cold, but not cruel. "Your fleet is destroyed. Your military is gone. Your empire has ended. But your people will live. We will not glass your world. We will not murder your civilians. We will not do to you what you did to us." Veth did not understand. "Why? We killed millions of your people." Veth did not understand. "Because we are not you," Day 1 said. "That is why." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small data chip. He placed it in Veth's clawed hand. "This contains the names of every person who died on New Busan. Every man, every woman, every child. You will build a memorial. You will carve every name in stone, and every year, your people will gather there and remember." Veth looked at the chip. His hand was shaking. "Remember what you did," Day 1 continued. "Remember what it cost you. And remember that we could have killed you all. We chose not to." He turned and walked away. At the door, he paused and looked back. "If you ever harm another human colony, we will return. And next time, there will be no mercy, no second chances, just fire." Then he was gone. Veth stood alone in his ruined throne room, holding a chip with 11 million names. The war was over. The lesson had been taught. Now came the hard part. Making sure the galaxy never forgot. 5 years passed. The galaxy was different now. Everyone knew what had happened at Keth Prime. On Earth, life returned to normal. Children went to school. Workers went to their jobs. Families ate dinner together. The great fleet had returned home. The soldiers took off their uniforms. They tried to forget the things they had seen, but the galaxy did not forget. Fleet Commander Day 1 retired from the military. He was 56 years old now. He lived in a small house near the ocean. He spent his days fishing and reading books. Sometimes reporters came to interview him. He always said no. One afternoon, a young woman knocked on his door. She had dark hair and tired eyes. She looked familiar, but Day 1 could not place her face. "Can I help you?" he asked. "My name is Yeren Bake," she said. "My mother was Captain Nari Bake." Day 1 was silent for a moment. Then he opened the door wider. "Please, come in." They sat on his porch and watched the waves. Yurin was 23 years old now. She had been 18 when her mother died. They gave me her medal, Yurin said. The Silver Star. They said she was a hero. She was. I was angry at her for a long time. She left me. She chose to die. Yurin wiped her eyes. But then I read the reports. I saw what the Velric did to New Busan. And I understood. Daewon nodded slowly. Your mother saved thousands of lives that day, when she destroyed the command station. The Velric lost coordination. Our ships were able to push forward. Many people came home because of her. I know. Yurin pulled something from her pocket. A photograph. It showed Nari smiling, holding a little girl. I will never forget her, Daewon said. None of us will. On Keth Prime, things had changed. The Velric had built the memorial. It stood in the center of their capital city, a massive wall of black stone. Every name from New Busan was carved into it. 11,800,000 names. The wall stretched for kilometers. Every year, on the anniversary of the massacre, the Velric gathered there. Millions of them. They read the names aloud. It took 3 days to read them all. High Sovereign Veth was gone. He had died 2 years after the war. Some said it was illness. Others said it was shame. His son, Veth the Younger, ruled now. He was different from his father, quieter, more careful. He had made one law that surprised everyone. In Velric schools, children were taught about New Busan. Not as a victory, as a warning. Teachers showed them images of the dead. They made them listen to Lieutenant Tae Kang's recording. They wanted every Velric child to understand what their parents had done. We must remember, Veth the Younger said, so that we never do this again. Across the galaxy, other species watched and learned. The Norathi Confederation had been planning to attack human mining colonies. They canceled those plans immediately. The Kelthan Empire had been making threats against human traders. They suddenly became very friendly. Even the ancient Vorith, who had ruled their corner of the galaxy for 10,000 years, sent a message to Earth. It said only, "We acknowledge humanity's strength. We seek peace. We seek." No one wanted to be the next Velric. On the colony world of New Sol, a statue stood in the main square. It showed Admiral Yuna Park, commander of the original defense fleet at New Busan. She was holding a sword in one hand and reaching out with the other, as if trying to protect someone. Below the statue were words carved in stone. She bought time with her life. 200,000 people escaped because of her sacrifice. Remember her. Every day, people left flowers at the base of the statue. Every day, someone stopped to read the words. Lieutenant Tae Kang had survived. He was 40 years old now. He worked as a teacher in a small school on Earth. He taught history to young children. One day, a student raised her hand. "Teacher Kang, is it true you were on New Busan?" Tae Kang was silent for a moment. He rarely talked about those days. The memories were too painful. "Yes," he finally said. "I was there." What was it like? He thought about the question. How could he explain? The screams, the silence, the smell of smoke and death. The 3 days he spent hiding in a bunker, listening to his world die. "It was the worst thing I have ever experienced," he said quietly. "But it taught me something important." "What?" "That we must never take peace for granted. That we must protect each other. And that even in the darkest moments, there is hope." The children listened with wide eyes. When I sent my recording to Earth, I did not know if anyone would hear it. I did not know if anyone would care. But they did. Millions of people stood up. They built ships. They flew across the galaxy. They made sure that what happened to us would never happen again. He smiled sadly. That is what it means to be human. We look after each other. No matter what. On the anniversary of New Busan, humans across all 340 colonies lit candles, In every city, in every home, billions of tiny flames burning in the darkness. On Earth, Speaker Hana Yoon, now retired, lit a candle in her window. She was 70 years old. Her hair was white, her hands were thin, but her eyes were still sharp. She thought about the vote she had called 5 years ago, the unanimous decision, the terrible war that followed, the lives lost, the lives saved. Was it worth it? Her granddaughter asked. Hana Yoon looked at the flame. I do not know, she admitted. Many people died. That can never be undone. But many more will live because of what we did. The galaxy learned to respect us, fear us, even. Is that a good thing? I hope so. I hope that fear keeps the peace. I hope that no one ever attacks us again. She paused. But mostly, I hope that we never lose ourselves, that we remember who we are, protectors, not conquerors, defenders, not murderers. She took her granddaughter's hand. We showed the galaxy our strength. Now we must show them our wisdom. That is the true test. In the halls of alien governments, diplomats still whispered the story of Keth Prime. How humanity had appeared from nowhere. How they had destroyed an empire in 4 hours. How they had shown mercy when they could have shown destruction. They had a saying now. A warning passed from species to species. Never wake the sleeping giant. For when humanity rises, even the stars tremble. And in the darkness of space, where the great memorial wall stood on Keth Prime, the names of 11,800,000 people shone in eternal stone. They were not forgotten. They would never be forgotten. That was humanity's promise to the dead. That was humanity's message to the galaxy. Hurt us, and we will answer. Threaten our families, and we will come for you. But we will never become the monsters we fight. We will carry our pain with dignity. We will remember our dead with honor. And we will build a future where no one has to die like they did. This was the lesson of New Busan. This was the legacy of 300,000 warships. This was humanity, and the galaxy would never forget.